Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing well. So in this video, we are going to answer the most asked question by the aspirant who are going to give the DET exam on 28th of June 2026. So in order to give you the best answer of the most asked question, I have got five of my classmates who has given DET last year along with me. So we have Tisha, we have Divyanshu, we have Abhishant, and we have Vishwajit. Hello everyone, how you all are doing?
We all are fine.
Thank you so much for joining me today on this particular session. So before we move on to our session, so I just want to give a disclaimer to people who are watching this video that whatever answer we are going to give in this particular video is according to our last year experience. So you might see or you might have a different experience this time. So moving on next, I'll divide this session into certain sections. Like I'll be asking you all questions into certain section where you all have to answer it. The first section will be of application process and document logistic and the document, and I'll answer this. The most asked question is like regarding the release of the admit card. When are the admit card going to be released? So admit card will be released on a day before the exam, if I'm not wrong, right?
Precisely, a day before the exam. We usually get it at, I got it at 6 p.m. I think we all got it at 6 p.m. I think early evenings, we get it then. And then we are getting our results right after that. So admit card and results are usually one day. There's a 24-hour gap between both of them.
There is another question that is been asked by the students is that once they are filling out the form, how are they going to get an acknowledgement of the form?
So I think
So
with regards to acknowledgement, what happened is that we weren't given an acknowledgement mail. So whoever mailed it directly to the college, we did not receive an individual acknowledgement. So we had to push for an acknowledgement. So in fact, I remember that the DSNLU admin staff was very inundated with application mails. So they didn't have the time to respond to each mail individually. So I think it might change this time around because there are multiple people writing and this exam is a lot well known now. But I think we mailed the admin staff ourselves. We had to find out the acknowledgement ourselves. So it
mhm.
really depends.
Yeah, true. Even I emailed them on the same email where I have submitted the form, and in return I got a simple text message that your form has been submitted. So this is how I got an acknowledgement from last year after filling out the form. So moving on to section 2, which is the exam pattern, syllabus, and the selection process. So Abhishant, can you please answer give your answer to this particular section?
Yeah, so there are three questions. There are three most asked questions, and I'll just answer them chronologically so that I don't lose flow of what has been most asked. So the comprehensive syllabus is actually given in the DT notification every year, which is legal awareness, reasoning, and aptitude. Now, aptitude is interchangeable with general knowledge because the notification mentions general knowledge, and sometimes aptitude is also most asked. So you have to be a little careful with the wording here. So, but I think it is safe to say that general knowledge forms a very major bulk of the exam process in general. So, general
Hmm.
knowledge, I think we got about 75% of general knowledge. The rest was scattered between legal reasoning and mathematical aptitude,
Hmm.
perhaps even logical reasoning. So it was all scattered, but 75% is a safe bet as to consider general knowledge in your exam. So that is the comprehensive syllabus. General knowledge in terms of it is usually not specified. General knowledge can be in terms of polity, history, or anything else. But
Hmm.
for the past 2 years, I think our seniors can also vouch for this. Is that we have a major part of general knowledge in terms of polity. So
Hmm.
polity, it makes sense, right? Because
Hmm.
law in Consti 1 and Consti 2 of your first year, when you join DSNLU, you'll be learning a lot about polity in general.
Hmm.
And when our batch will also be learning polity in admin law this
Hmm.
semester. We'll be having admin law this semester. So polity forms a very major bulk of the exam.
Hmm.
And with 100 questions covering so many topics, which specific section carries the most weightage of focus? I think, again, polity covers the major aspect of it. So you have to prepare
Right.
for polity thoroughly.
Hmm.
Polity preparation is very thorough. I remember that in our exam, we were asked articles for different provisions in general. So, for
Hmm.
example, I was one of the only few people who got one question right. which is about the constitutional article for UPSC. So we were
Okay.
asked this question last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I had actually revised the articles a day before the exam, so there was quite fresh in my memory. So keeping in mind articles, keeping in mind very minute things in polity can give
Hmm.
you a competitive edge when it comes to this exam.
Hmm.
History, I think it's important to consider from 1857, mostly British history, British Indian history, because that has a direct bearing to our legal system in general.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that has a very important bearing to our legal system. And current affairs, I think for the past 6 to 8 months, major current affairs for the past 6 to 8 months should suffice. I don't think current affairs carries that much of weightage as opposed to general knowledge in terms of polity or history. So I think that
Hmm.
should be kept in mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Very much true, Abhishant. Tisha, can you please give your insight to this? Because as DET has got like three specific sections as mentioned in the notification. So P and the aspirant are quite like they are. It's because PYQ is also not published, right? So they have got a lot of doubt regarding what kind of question come in the like especially different kind of sections like statics GK, as Abhishant has already explained much about it. Statics GK, history, current affair, legal aptitude, and even we have seen mathematics last year, if you all remember it. So can you please give your thought process regarding this?
Yes, surely. Thank you. See, for static GK, we have history, polity, geography, and economics, which form a like major part. So to add on Abhishant's, yes, polity covers a base, like most important role, I believe. So you have to be very thorough with your like preamble, first of all, which is very important. The
Hmm.
chronology of what which is used, like socialist, secular, what is the like first, second, third chronology of that. You should know that part. And fundamental rights, yes, the basic, the case laws, whichever like case Putta Swami, right? So you should know the constitution very, very, very nicely, word to word,
Hmm.
articles, section, like articles, case laws, right? And yes, history, I believe you can know on surface level, which makes like you should know ancient one, Harappan civilization very nicely, and modern India after 1857 revolt very nicely. Medieval, yes, you can do on like chronology, you should know what is like Lodi period, what are successor, predecessors, like in that you should focus. And geography and economics, I believe you have to do alignment. What are the current affair? Like for example, earthquake happened in current affair, right? So what is the static portion in geography regarding earthquake? Similarly,
Hmm.
economics. Similarly, IR, international relation. What is the war? Like if some war is going on, what is the background of that war? So you need to focus for economics, IR, and geography based on current affair, and history and polity, majorly polity on like thorough with your books. Follow lucents, do
Hmm.
universal and single. Basically me, I had done my entire polity and history from the universal and singles, which have 4,000 MCQs in each of the book. So practice those books very nicely. You can be thorough with entire polity and history from those books. And then current affair. Yes,
Hmm.
do 6 months prior. Very nicely. I followed Loggery is one channel. So she gets paid current affair for each month. So I practice for 1 year, but you can go for 6 months. Like, January to June. Properly, she
Hmm.
give like month wise MCQ is there. You know, practice the MCQ very nicely. But since current affair is very, something you cannot promise yourself upon. So do not focus much on the current affair. Do what everyone will do, but do not indulge a lot of that, because when it came for us, I
Hmm.
wasn't able to do even on like more than 4 MCQs in current affair, but I was scoring a lot from the static portion.
Hmm.
So that co current affair, right? And do like schemes. Okay, whatever current is going very nicely. You can skip the years, I believe, but you should know what is the substance in current affair also this time. Then legal aptitude, yes, you should know all the things like tort, criminal
Hmm.
laws, ठीक है, what is consti very nicely, and do IPR a little bit those things also. What is bailment? What is
Hmm.
pledge? You should know this concept also, because question came to from the bailment, I believe, last time.
Hmm.
Should do this thing very nicely. Same I did for the AP. There's one book Bharadwaj something, and
Hmm.
single and universal. Again, I practiced all the MCQs, all the theory for the legal also from these books itself. And then
Hmm.
maths and quants. In our time, only four questions came from maths and quants, which are quite basic, very easy, like how many triangles are there, 1% question came, which are very easy to do. So that's it, I believe. For STEM books, I will say you should, for polity, for static, follow Lucent very nicely.
Hmm.
practice MCQ from universals and
Hmm.
singles, or go for one book, your choice, right?
Hmm.
For legal, again, you can Bharadwaj book is there, and universal and single, which is common book for all the subjects. That's it.
Okay. Divyanshu, you want to add something?
Since Tisha and Abhishant have already covered like the majority of the syllabus, a few things I'd like
Hmm.
to add upon the modern history part because it covers a significant portion of the paper. So, what
Hmm.
categories to study on is like basically governor generals, appointments, reformers and reforms, who brought what. These are very famous categories which the aspirants need to focus on. And coming out the sources, how much to study, like Tisha already covered very well from where to study. How much to study is actually, if you look at the table of contents of Lucents, it's a very concise table of contents. If you cover only
Hmm.
that portion of material from any book, singles, universals, LexisNexis, or Lucents, it
Hmm.
would do the job.
Okay. Very well said. So there is another aspect if we are discussing about the syllabus. So as per the official notification, they haven't mentioned about the mathematics and quant, right? So can you tell us, or can you tell the viewers that because this particular part is not mentioned in the syllabus, but we have seen the question last year, and even our senior has seen the question from maths and quant, although it is very like those 4 5 or I think 9 questions were there, were very simple, very basic. So the people who are going to give the exam, do they have to focus more on quant, or if they have given any other exam, or if they have given MSCT or CUET, the preparation that they have done on those exam, will that work for to cover this particular section? Tisha, can you say something on this particular?
Yes, surely. I believe that, see, since these things are not given in explicit way, but they're implicitly there. Like, for example, reasoning. What is reasoning? Quants and reasoning come in that perspective also. But
Hmm.
the thing here is, every competitive exam will give 2 or 3 questions which determines the rank, right?
Hmm.
They will not
Hmm.
give you everything on the plate, right? So they will distinguish certain people from the crowd who actually manage these kind of surprising or shocking things in the examination too. So, since it's a competitive exam, you need to prepare yourself for these aptitude also, which are very basic, but you should know, because since these are questions which actually distinguish rank, right? Because
Hmm.
everyone will clear the paper, like most people can clear the paper, right? If you are well to do in your subjects. But what
Hmm.
distinguishes rank 1 from rank 66? That is what these set of questions are. That's it.
Correct, correct, correct. Okay, so there is another question that students are asking, the aspirants are asking, like, can you all suggest the best book or study material what we have gone through? Any suggestions from you all that what you have covered? Tisha, you have already mentioned many books while you have answered the previous question, but specifically, can you give, or all of you can give any book that viewers who are watching this can refer to?
Okay, since see, I will go with 2 categories. One, the people who have done from the day one the preparation, like since 2 months they are doing. So for them,
Hmm.
I will say for static, do Lucent, polity and history very thoroughly, very very thoroughly. I will say that geography and economic, like I said, align with the current affair, very like
Hmm.
normally basic part. So for that, Lucent is a thing you should go for. What if
Hmm.
someone who's just started preparation like 10 days or 15 days back, take
Hmm.
universal book, right? Practice all the MCQs very thoroughly. If some question you do not know, open your Google, type that question, and do little bit scribbling on the book itself. So
Hmm.
practice. If you are fresher, like started recently, do all the MCQs from the one book universal for static and for legal. Even quant and reasoning, I believe something is there. You can practice from that book itself. But if you have started since like uh, 2 months back, go for Lucent and Universal. These two books are paramount according to me because I followed these two books very thoroughly in my preparation journey.
Hmm. Divyanshu or Abhishant, can you add something? Okay, Abhishant, you want to
So
add
I think
something?
one thing to say. So I think a lot has been spoken about books and the gaining of knowledge through reading in general. I
Hmm.
think most people fundamentally misunderstand what general knowledge is. So it isn't just knowledge that you accumulate by reading; it is also knowledge that you accumulate incidentally. So stuff like reading the newspaper. So some random article which interests you one day when you decide to pick up the newspaper, and then you see something very important, something very interesting,
Hmm.
and that comes in your exam. So that interesting part is what remains in your mind, and that is what you remember. So that is truly what general knowledge is. General knowledge is not being a master of one trade, meaning that you're focusing more on polity or focusing more on history. It is actually a jack of all trades, meaning that
Correct.
you're meaning that you have a breadth of knowledge more than depth of knowledge. So that is one thing to consider. So I actually began my preparation 15 or 20 days before the exam. I only used one book, Lucens, because I believe that if you focus on, if you just keep one material with you and you revise it multiple times, that is actually a lot better of a revision than using multiple books for multiple topics. For example, so I think Tisha has mentioned using multiple books. For example, legal reasoning के लिए एक book था, and then using Lucents or Universal for static GK. While that is a wonderful technique, that is actually a very wonderful technique. And Tisha is one of the high scorers in the DET exam as well, so it
Mm.
obviously might have worked in her favor. So one thing, at least with regards to me, is that the more you revise one particular book, the more you revise from one particular source of information, the more confidence you'll have about the knowledge that you retain.
Mm.
So confidence is also a very important aspect when you come to an entrance exam, and especially when it's competitive, especially when there is a competitive exam like the DET, you need
Mm.
to have confidence in your knowledge that you've retained over the course of course of your preparation, so that you're able to regurgitate it on the paper later. So if you're underconfident, if you've prepared well, and if you're underconfident, so I think it really defeats the purpose of performing well in the exam. So my advice would be, if you're uncomfortable with using a lot of books in general, or if you don't have enough time, stick to one book, stick to one
Mm.
simple random book, and you always have the internet at your disposal. So I didn't use any different book for legal reasoning. I just went online, I found some random PDF, which had a clickable answer scheme. So it also corrected self auto corrected any answers that I clicked. So I use
Mm.
that, some 75 questions, 75 odd questions. So I think it can work for you. So if you think that, if you think that you want to perform well, and if you think you don't have time to have breadth of knowledge like the ones that Tisha had mentioned, stick
Mhm.
to one book, stick to the internet, stick to very minimal sources, but have confidence in it. Revise it, revise it, revise it, so that you have confidence in what you're learning.
Mm.
So that's my one take on it.
Mm. Very well said, Abhishant. Yes, Divyanshu.
Since I'd add one thing here, what Tesha said and what Abhishek said are for two different kinds of individuals appearing for this paper. For those who do not know, Abhishek, this guy is like very good in mathematics. He was aspirant of CDS, NDA, and he's been preparing for these government exams for so long. So for him, quants wouldn't have been any problem, and the basic static GK. So for him, sticking to one book worked. But if you're a beginner, you can stick to Tesha's advice, like pretty dominantly. So it would work better for you.
Correct, correct. Yes, Tisha.
And also, like, since we were discussing post examination, majority of students felt that most of the MCQs regarding current affairs are from GK Today. So GK Today is like on platform which give every day 5 MCQs. So make sure you practice, since whenever you got to know this like thing, practice those MCQ every day. 5 MCQs daily from GK Today itself. That's it.
Yeah, thank you, Tisha. Yes,
I
Abhishant,
had
you
just
want
one
to
more thing to
add on?
add. So,
Yes.
not just with regards to the exam, but if you want to learn how to critically think, because see, if you're writing the DT, you're writing because you want to become a lawyer, or a legal man in general. So, if you
Mm.
want to develop the ability to critically think, it is
Mm.
important to read Indian Express ka UPSC Essentials. So, for example, so now let's say you're preparing for a current affairs topic,
Mm.
and this current affairs topic is elaborated in elucidated in a wonderful way in this magazine, which is released monthly by Indian Express. Now you have to pay for this in general, but then there's also a Telegram channel which allows you to obtain that free of cost. So there's also a compilation of all these articles per monthly wise. So just read them,
Mhm.
just give them a cursory read. This is
Okay.
only supplementary to GK Today. GK Today is wonderful for current affairs. This is only supplementary today for your critical thinking skills, because sometimes they might reword the current affairs question in general. So instead of asking you directly, they might twist the question a little bit to
Mm.
confuse you. So you need to be able to think in multiple angles, multiple perspectives. So critical thinking is an important aspect here.
Yes, Abhishant, I totally agree with your thought. I hope that your idea will definitely help the aspirant who is watching this video. So now let's move on to the next section. So So we all have given some or the other some competitive exam in our life, right? So the very first thing what we see is that what would be the cutoff to the category that we belong. I belong to the general category, so I'll talk about the general category mostly. So we all know that last year situation was something else, but people this time are wanted to know what would be the cutoff. So any idea, or can you give your thought process regarding the cutoff, or people, or the aspirant should simply work harder on their preparation to give this exam?
See, I believe since it's 100 marks, you should try to score between 75 to 85. For general, I would say piece on safer side, go 80 plus. Since it's not that tricky, you have been given plethora of resources
Hmm.
to study from, and you
Hmm.
can easily score 80 plus, I believe. So focus
Hmm.
80 plus. That's
Hmm.
it.
Hmm. Any add-ons,
Yeah, so
Divanshu?
for people who think 80 plus is too much of a score, and keeping in consideration that you would be traveling to Vishakhapatnam and the amount of gamble it is, like you don't know, it's completely uncertain that you'll be booking thousands of, like you'll be paying thousands for tickets to Vishakhapatnam in complete uncertainty that you'd be taken in or you'd be like expelled out. So I'd say you all that, see, there is a very good adjustment of seats. It happened last year also, it's for this year also. So the provision says if any category, be it backward classes, SC, ST, OBC, or be it Andhra domicile reservation of 50%, if any category remains unsatisfied by qualified candidates, the terminology, any category which remains unsatisfied by the qualified candidates. So that remaining of seats will be treated as seat for an unreserved category. So it's a good thing for us, for anyone who is appearing from a general category. So you can keep your hopes high on this.
There is another set of category which is 6 seats, which is for NRI, and I believe if no one turns up, then the 6 seats will be also converted into general category. Okay, now let's move on to the next section. So before an aspirant getting into any college, the very first thing what they see is the fees of that particular course, and second thing is if how are they going to avail the scholarship. So can you please give your opinion regarding the scholarship fee? Is obviously it will be published, it will be uploaded on the website, but aspirants had a question that if we have, our college has any scholarship facilities or not. Divyanshu, can you please say something on this?
Yeah, so talking about the internal scholarship schemes, our college does provide financial aid to people who come from weaker sections of the society, and especially that scheme is for Andhra domiciled candidates. Being a North Indian, I consulted our IT department, our education financial aid department. They assisted me that since you are from like other state, it would be a little problematic for you to prove your, like, because there are different kind of income certificates that work in Andhra than in UP. So there's difficulty. What at most you can rely on, being coming from a bigger section of the society or from a not so wealthy family, that you can go for government schemed sanctioned loans, like there is PM Vidya Lakshmi scheme. So that scheme provides you loan on very low interest rates. If you primarily, if you prefer banks like Bank of Baroda, you'll easily get a loan for interest of 6.5 to 7% in between. And that too, like,
Hmm.
I'm not going to dive in the details of like loan in the process. That would be on the PM with the Lakshmi portal itself. But that is something you can take into consideration. Is my video freeze? Oh, it's okay.
No, no, it's fine, it's
And
fine.
another thing, like talking about the fees, it was 2,51,000 for accommodation as well as tuition fees, yeah, exclusive of 46,000, which we were supposed to pay for the mess charges. One
Hmm.
thing to be noted down here, if you are going for any kind of financial aid, either through a bank loan or anything, you'd have to provide two different verifications or two different proofs by the college to your bank or sanctioning authority directly, proving that you need 46,000 extra by the same authority and 2,51,000 for tuition fees and accommodation by the same authority. Make sure.
Hmm.
Divyanshu, there's a small correction in that. Actually, 2,51,000 included the mess fees as well.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
25,000 was for hostel, plus 10,000 was security for the hostel.
Okay, okay. So in that 2,51,000, you have to separately request a mail from your college or from our college, being delivered to your bank or sanctioning authority, requesting for that separate 46,000, because that goes to a different account, and your admission fees, tuition fees, hostel, these all go to a different account. So yeah, the things are a little complicated, but as you follow the process, the things will get easier on the way. So yeah,
Hmm.
you can go for loans.
Another thing that I missed in this particular section is uh, about the placement. Like this is another aspect what students see before getting into the college. I know like a 3-year LB in DSNLU, we are the second batch. What upcoming is the third batch, and none of our batch has passed out, and it would be very difficult for us to say about the placement. But still, if you all can give your opinion, how would be the placement, or what is the scenario of the placement in our campus?
So I'll begin with the good news first. I'll reduce all of your fears that there might be discrimination in terms of placements between the 3-year LLB and the 5-year LLB. There is no discrimination whatsoever. The RCC, which is the Recruitment Coordination Cell, does
Hmm,
not discriminate. So at least statutorily, it does not discriminate between those who are in the 3-year LB and the 5-year LB, because we are given internship opportunities equally. For example, we were given an internship opportunity from CAM, Cyril Mission Mangalas, which is one of the biggest firms in the country. We were given the internship opportunity for us second year, so which is our batch, and the fourth years of the 5-year LLB, which is
hmm,
our equivalent batch. They'll be passing out with us at the same time. So we were given an internship opportunity, and it works well for placements and internships as well. But the bad news comes in the sense that it is very limited. So if you look at the statistics as well, right? So there might be statistics released by the RCC every year. If you go to LinkedIn, you can check the RCC statistics. Every year, out of the 12 or 13 people who get placed at law firms, a very few of these go through college. And it makes sense because one thing, over the course of your law school degree, you are interning at different places that you apply through yourself. You're not necessarily depending on the college for every internship that you get. You are applying on your own, you're also getting your internship offers on your own, you're working on your own. So technically speaking, it is the ball is in your court to determine which law firm offers you a placement offer, pre-placed PPO, it's called a pre-PO, pre-placement offer, or which
hmm,
law firm you decide to actually apply to for a job.
hmm,
So I'll give you a very small example of mine. He's my friend who's passed out this year. He's in the 5-year LLB. So he's got a job offer from a law firm called LKS, Lakshmi Kumaran and Sridharan.
hmm,
Now, another individual that I know outside of DSNLU also got a job offer at another firm. But the way these two individuals went to get their job is entirely different. So the friend outside of DSNLU, he sat through the interview process. There was a written test as well, and then he was offered a job. But my friend, my this friend who's passed out from DSNLU, he's interned there an assessment internship for a total of 6 months. So he's
hmm,
interned there for 6 months, and then he was given a pre-placement offer. So law firms in general have their own standards of recruitment. So to depend on college entirely for your placements is, I think, very impossible. Even if you're coming from a wonderfully economic background, if you can, if you're lush, or if you're coming from a background which is a little problematic, you need a job on your own. You need to depend on some sort of college comfort for jobs. It's statistically impossible to depend on college entirely for placements. Yes, one thing I can say is that college gives you a name. So I was interning at a firm this summer, and almost all the associates there who I was working with are non-NLU graduates. So when I introduce myself as an NLU plus NMIMS graduate, I have that sort of pedigree that okay, he's actually well learned. He's actually learned some good research skills. He might actually be some sort of he might start at the uh, better position as opposed to most other graduates or most other interns. So that is
hmm,
one thing. So to summarize in small, one, college does not give you placements all in all. It gives you very
hmm,
limited opportunities. Two,
hmm,
very few people from college go through college placements. They secure jobs on their own because it is
hmm,
statistically valid.
hmm,
Three, DSNLU has the tag of an NLU, which you can always use to your advantage.
hmm.
And four, I think you shouldn't really focus too much on college placements because they provide you this sort of cushioning. You can explore on your own. I think exploring for jobs on my own, exploring for internship opportunities on my own has given me some sort of independence in what law firm or law field that I want to specialize in, for example. So that is my take on this.
So, Abhishan, can I say that the college does has a uh, platform, but it is on us how we are going to grab the opportunity from that particular platform.
Precisely. Every college has a wonderful platform, and DSNLU has a very well functioning RCC. Don't be mistaken that the recruitment committee is lacks. I think it has a very wonderfully functional RCC. It really just
Uh,
depends on your individual needs and goals as to what you want to intern and how you want to get a job
right,
after.
right. Yes, Tisha.
See, since we have 3 years LLB, we have less time for internship, right? So
Hmm,
I believe that you should know which is your genre, whether it's corporate or litigation or judiciary. So litigation, since it's compulsory now, you have to do like for even for judiciary, you have to do litigation itself. So
hmm,
be consistent. Do your internship, apply CV for each and every, no matter tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Select your niche, whether it's litigation or corporate. If corporate, which niche you want to, real estate or company law or taxation, decide it. Okay, after
hmm,
like first year, decide your niche and apply your CV to each and every prominent tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3, which is or upcoming tier 2 or upcoming tier 3, which has scope of learning. So
hmm,
be consistent and have a skill set. you know yes, it's important to get into tier 1, but how will sustain in tier 1 is a skill set. Not today,
hmm,
not tomorrow. After 2 years you will land a tier 1 if you're consistent in your skill set, and you're be rigorous, be consistent, be disciplined in your approach. So have a particular like roadmap how to pursue, and be consistent
hmm.
in that roadmap. That is what I want to say all about.
Very well said, Tisha. Thank you so much. So, can like Vishwa or Divyanshu, can you please add your opinion regarding this if you have to say something?
So talking about like how Abhishan mentioned, we have a very good RCC and the platform our college gives. I'd like to add about the e-library section that we have as DSNLU students. So basically, our e-library section is the best. Actually, I'd say better than in fact NLSIU. Our e-library section has so much of subscriptions that like I have my friends in NLSIU. I have my seniors in NLSIU, and they were surprised to see when I shared my screen accidentally logging into my Nimbus that the amount of subscriptions we get. So basically, that gives you an edge when you go to internships or outside of campus. And you need any assistance, the department is extremely friendly. They'll
Hmm,
cooperate you, and they'll like you'll feel you won't ever feel abandoned by the college. You need extra extensions for your internships, it would be on the way. You need off campus access to your Nimbus, it would be on the way. Starting from the librarian to the staffs to the people working here in DSNL, they are very cooperative, and you will never feel
hmm.
abandoned. This I can say. And the edge the e library gives you is extremely enormous.
Very well said, Divyanshu. Okay, with this, we'll move on to our last section and most exciting section, which a lot of aspirant ask, that how is the campus life in DSNLU? I keep on posting so people do get to know how our college life is. Apart from this, like, how was your college life? How do you see your college as? Like, was it? What are the ups and downs that you have seen in this 1 year? Or if you want to suggest something to the upcoming batch, then do please give your opinion regarding this.
Talking about the campus, like a campus life, I feel like there's everything, like for sports, for academics. I mean, I really love this college in all sense. Like from like for the past 1 year, we all were involving in everything, whether it's sports, whether it's academics, whether it's moods, mediation competitions, or like what all competitions have happened. I think me, Divyanshu, Ayush, Abhishek, Tisha have like at least participated in one program like
Hmm.
that was there. So I guess like DSNL provide all the exposure you need. You just have to make like worth it. Like make uh whatever you wanted to take it, you can take it from that college. That's it. So I feel like DSNL have a pretty good exposure and campus life. I really
Correct.
enjoy studying there.
That is actually true what you have said. We all have been a part of any one of the competition that has been in the campus, and a few of us available like present in this particular meeting has won something or the other. And apart from that, even the crowd in our college is very good. Like, there is another question, one of the aspirant has asked me that do we have any discrimination with 5 year and 3 year LLB? And this is very hot question that aspirant has in today's date, because there are few NLUs where discrimination is there. I have never felt that there is any kind of discrimination like throughout this entire year in terms of sports, in terms of committee, or in terms of any opportunity, that it is always equal for like what 5 year people has got. We have got the same opportunity. I have never seen any discrimination. If you all can give your opinion regarding the discrimination part, especially.
I agree with you, Ayush. Even I didn't feel any kind of discrimination. And it's very important to, first look into yourself. You should keep your demeanor and personality very friendly, balanced, not into hatred or into grudges. Everyone will work into your favor. Okay, seniors are there to help you out. So work on yourself. College is pretty fine, pretty awesome. Everything is there in the college. You will enjoy it.
Thank you, Tisha. Abhishan, please, if you want to say something,
I think it's fine,
your
man.
opinion.
So, see, one thing you have to consider is that amidst everyone who's present in the meeting, I'm the only Telugu speaking guy. So, it is technically easy for me to connect with people from all walks of life. And considering that I've lived in different parts of South India as well, so I'm able to easily connect to different people from different walks of life. So, at least for me personally, I never faced that discriminatory part.
Hmm,
But I think in general, I think DSNLU has a very open mindset. You've got people coming from different cultures, different languages, so it is easier for you to connect in general.
hmm,
And discrimination really doesn't exist. I think it's just a word. I think it's just a fear that most students have before coming into DSNLU. But one thing I can be sure of is that DSNLU has no discrimination as such.
correct, correct.
The 3-year LLB and the 5-year LLB students, connect on a very wonderful basis. There is interconnection between both the courses. So there's no room for discrimination in that sense.
I'd like to add
Very
here
well said.
this, to be very honest, there is no discrimination. You won't face any discrimination, but there is tussle, and there should be
Hmm,
tussle, and there must be tussle in order to like keep the competition friendly. So don't come up with this expectation that the 5 year people or the other people in the college would be appreciating or would be like somebody to take you forward. No, you have to take yourself forward. Nobody is going to demean you, but you have to keep this thing in your mind that people here are highly qualified. Students studying in 5 year course are glad qualified students, and whosoever comes from DT, they're also like Vishwa here is has primarily formerly worked in MNCs, and Ayush herself own merchandise firm. Tisha, Abhishan, everybody's quite qualified. So if you don't bring the caliber within yourself, and like here at DSU, you might feel sometimes uninvited. So yeah, there's no discrimination, but if you uh, might not be able to like keep up the caliber, or if you don't have that thing, you might feel uninvited, but that goes away with time. So I'd say yeah, there's no discrimination, but invitation is inevitable at some times.
Work on yourself. College is pretty fine, pretty awesome. Everything is there in the college. You will enjoy it.
thank you, Tisha. Abhishan, please, if you want to say something,
I think it's fine,
your
man.
opinion.
So, see, one thing you have to consider is that amidst everyone who's present in the meeting, I'm the only Telugu speaking guy. So it is technically easy for me to connect with people from all walks of life. And considering that I've lived in different parts of South India as well, so I'm able to easily connect to different people from different walks of life. So at least for me personally, I never faced that discriminatory part.
Hmm,
But I think in general, I think DSNLU has a very open mindset. You've got people coming from different cultures, different languages, so it is easier for you to connect in general.
hmm,
And discrimination really doesn't exist. I think it's just a word. I think it's just a fear that most students have before coming into DSNLU. But one thing I can be sure of is that DSNLU has no discrimination as such.
correct, correct.
The 3-year LLB and the 5-year LLB students, connect on a very wonderful basis. There is interconnection between both the courses. So there's no room for discrimination in that sense.
I'd like to add
Very
here
well said.
this, to be very honest, there is no discrimination. You won't face any discrimination, but there is tussle, and there should be
Hmm,
tussle, and there must be tussle in order to like keep the competition friendly. So don't come up with this expectation that the 5 year people or the other people in the college would be appreciating or would be like somebody to take you forward. No, you have to take yourself forward. Nobody is going to demean you, but you have to keep this thing in your mind that people here are highly qualified. Students studying in 5 year course are glad qualified students, and whosoever comes from DT, they're also like Vishwa here is has primarily formerly worked in MNCs, and Ayush herself own merchandise firm. Tisha, Abhishek, everybody's quite qualified. So if you don't bring the caliber within yourself, and like here at DSU, you might feel sometimes uninvited. So yeah, there's no discrimination, but if you like uh, might not be able to like keep up the caliber, or if you don't have that thing, you might feel uninvited, but that goes away with time. So I'd say yeah, there's no discrimination, but invitation is inevitable at sometimes.
Correct,
And
correct.
also,
Uh,
and also, I want to add something like when I was about to come to South India, I felt like there would be some kind of tit tat, kind of north and south. It's not. So
mhm.
Vishwa is from Kerala, is from South India, and we are pretty good friends. And we have other Telugu friends also, like Rohit and other people too. So have very welcoming gesture, personality, greet everyone, talk to everybody in balanced, not that, hoofa types. But everything will work. Be very, I'll say, calm and balanced approaching everyone in the college. That's it.
Another question came into my mind, which one of the aspirant, like not only one, there are few aspirant who asked me about it, that people who are coming from north, so do they face any discrimination, or do they have any kind of language barrier when they are in Vishakhapatnam, or when they are in the suburban going outside? Will it be very difficult for them to communicate with the local vendors or something? So basically, just to summarize, uh, will there be any problem not knowing Telugu staying in the campus?
In campus, I don't think there's a problem at all. There's multiple people who speak multiple languages, so you won't have a problem in campus. But in Sabavaram, which is where DSNL is located, and the neighboring district, so Sabavaram forms part of this district called Anakapalli. So in this region, you might have some sort of problems with Telugu speaking because not everyone can comfortably speak English. But once you go to Vizag, I think the nearest Vizag town is some 9 or 10 kilometers away from DSNLU. In Pendurti is some 9 kilometers away. So I
Hmm.
think the nearest Vizag town, when once you enter Vizag, I don't think you'll have a problem with language because Vizag is a very wonderful town. So I this one year spending time in Vizag has endeared me to the city a lot. It is also known as the city of destiny for a reason because our destiny, at least my destiny, has changed a lot once I came to Vizag. But Vizag in general is very exposed. So it is also I think, the eastern command of the Indian Navy, and there's a lot of PSUs here as well. So there are people
Hmm.
who also speak Hindi and English in a very comfortable manner. So you won't have that problem when you come to Vizag, but you will have some sort of initial tussle. You'll have some sort of initial adjustment, which you can easily, take your time to adjust. 4 5 months, give it 4 5 months, you'll be able to speak Telugu in Sabbavaram as well. So keep your heart and mind open to the language. It's a very beautiful language, and it's a very good way to connect to the locals as well.
Correct, correct. Very well said, Abhishek. Okay, so if anyone has anything to add on this.
So in initial days, yes, you will face some problems since it's Telugu, but eventually you will learn. If you know one word from the entire sentence, you can make the sense. Like what is food, what is sitting, like kind of words. It will take you
Hmm.
time to assimilate yourself in that culture. But like I said, be open to learn. You will eventually feel that this is a home, and you will feel very nice there.
And remember
Actually,
this phrase, Naku Telugu Radu. This is going to save your life here in Andhra. Naku Telugu Radu. It means basically you add.
Lead with this sentence. I think you should lead with that Naku Telugu Radu when you're talking to a local. So when you say something out of turn, or when you say something which is not amicable with the local Telugu population, they'll at least understand that you're not a native Telugu speaker, and then they'll not judge you as harshly as native Telugu speaker. You should lead with that sentence.
So, Ayush, I believe that there is still a question which remain unaddressed. Is basically when we decide, when we make this decision of coming to Vizag and appearing for DET, we already have
Hmm.
3 4 colleges in our mind that we are like in a big conundrum about either to appear for that or that, or this one. For example, we have Punjab University. We have already appeared for CLAT, so we have our results and waiting for the new list of LC1, LC2, or CLC. Then we have NFSU, Forensic Science University. Then we have
Hmm.
from last year CNLU 3-year LV program. So there is a big conundrum about selecting the colleges and whether to appear for DET or not. So starting from CNLU, I'd say that it's their first batch only, so it's going to be experimental. It was I have my friend in CNLU. The curriculum is like more or less like a government college curriculum. DSNLU's
Hmm.
curriculum is more innovative. It gives you room and it keeps on changing. They keep on adding new things. They keep on adding new laws into the syllabus. Whereas CNLU sticks to the same concept, like old set of 3-year LE program as followed in the other government colleges. Talking about this NFSU, so last year it was a complete mess. From cancelling the exam to postponing the exam to not releasing the admit cards to not reimbursing the fees. To the people I have connected, studying in FSU, the classes are not going properly. Like the faculties keep on changing. So and
Hmm.
LC1, LC2 would be better addressed by Vishwas since he is from DU, and Punjab University would be better dealt by Tisha since she is from Punjab. So my gamble of taking DSNU turned greatly in my favor. This NLU tag literally helps me in internships. People have very good expectations from me. I do own a very good first impression whenever I land to a new place. So yeah, it would be further taken by Tisha and Vishwajit.
Yeah, so actually I was from DU, so I knew the atmosphere there. So when I was appearing for DSNLU, I was fixed with my decision that I'm gonna write DSNLU because DU is covered with politics. And most of the LC1, LC2 faculties doesn't even come to class regularly. So
Hmm.
it's mixed with politics, like big politics. So I don't suggest anyone to go to LC1 and LC2 just because of the exposure. And also, there are people who dropped out from LC1 and LC2 came to DSNLU. For example, Aarti. Aarti was someone who was from LC1, I guess, and she dropped DU and came back, came to DSNLU. So I guess I won't suggest going to LC1 and LC2 just because of this politics. And NLU tag is always important. As Divyanshu said, when I was applying for an internship, like my own personal experience was when they came to know that I'm from an NLU, and they
Hmm.
prefer me more than any of the other government colleges.
Hmm.
So I guess this NLU tag is very important, and I won't suggest people going to DU. I'm not saying DU is bad. DU have very good exposure compared to the college, compared to where the college is located, because it
Hmm.
is in Delhi, and that exposure is there.
Hmm.
When you compare DU with DSNLU, DSNLU doesn't have that, what to say, exposure, because DSNLU is far away from the city.
Correct.
So that kind of exposure won't be there in DSNLU, but still I will say the academic calendar, the way the academic is taught, DSNLU is far more better than DU. So
Correct.
I would suggest DSNLU is a better gamble than DU.
Hmm.
So that's it.
So,
That's my option.
Vishwa, very well said. But I want to add, or I want to ask you one thing, that DU has got its own pros and cons. Same as the DSNLU, right? So, as we all know, DU is a very old university, and it has its alumni base is very strong. So if someone really want to join DU, and they have got two options in their hand, one is DSNLU and one is DU. So what are the aspect, or what are the things that they should be looking in both the colleges before selecting, or before making a decision?
Okay, talking about the if somebody is choosing we cannot first of all we cannot compare DSNLU and DU, because DU have started 3-year LB from the very start. It's a like very old university, so that kind of exposure is always there in DU. If somebody wants to go for litigation, DU is a very good space because DU can provide you that exposure and what to say, that kind of atmosphere. But in terms of when we compare DSNLU with that, DSNLU just established a 3-year LB like 2 years ago. So
Hmm.
that kind of minus points are there for DSNLU.
Hmm.
But when you join an NLU, you are always having that NLU tag, which is
Correct.
very important for all the corporate internships and corporate jobs. So people notice you based on that NLU tag. I'm not saying DU is lesser than NLU, but I'm saying NLU tag helped me. People
Yeah,
know
yeah, yeah.
me, like when I say that I'm from DU, people do respect me. I'm not saying that they don't respect me in that sense, but in terms of this profession, NLU give me more exposure than DU give me. And basis of
Okay.
like last time Divyanshu was referring about the e-resources that we have. So
Hmm. Hmm.
last time I went on a moot and I was talking to a guy who is from DU, and he does not even have that many resources that we have. We have almost all resources that's there currently in the Indian law platform. So
Hmm.
that kind of exposure is always different. It depends upon if you have money and if you can spend that on a quality education. I think you should choose DSNLU for that tag and for that academics. And in DSNLU, there are regular classes. There's a like proper academic calendar that we follow. So when we come to DU have an academic calendar, but nobody follows that. Nobody goes to class. It's full of politics, and we get nothing inside that apart from the practical exposure that they give. So this
Okay.
is like the very different like parts of both the colleges. Since I am from both the universities, I know how these things work.
Yes, Vishwa, very well said. If you want to add something, Divyanshu, what Vishwa has said.
I'd add something here is like if you are aspiring for judiciary, DU is your place, because once you get enrolled in an NLU, you won't be getting time for preparing any like side exam. You cannot have this expectation to be in NLU working on projects, working on your like exams, because the semester is also divided into two: the mid sems and the end sems. Continuously, you'll be having exams, research projects, and your personal publications as well. So you won't get any time, preferably, to work on your judiciary papers, especially or APO PPO exams. So if you have any government exams in your mind, DSNLU or any NLU is not your place. You won't be getting that time here, and yeah.
Very well said, Divyanshu. Thank you so much. There was another university, right, Divyanshu, you talked about, which is Punjab University. So, Tisha, if you want to add something regarding the DU, what Vishwa and Divyanshu said, and post that, you can carry on with your opinion regarding the college of Punjab University.
I totally agree with the opinions of Divyansh and Vishwajit regarding DU. I have no personal opinion on that purpose. But yes, PU, yes, I can have that. See, PU is a campus which is basically inside of Chandigarh itself. And it is not just for law. For law, you have two departments. For 5 years, you're ULS. And for 3 years, you're Department of Laws, which are two different departments in here, right? And you have other like sects also, like for like engineering you have a different area. So like big college, big university it is. So if I
Hmm.
have to specifically regarding the law, I chose NLU over the PU. So see, it's a subjective thing, but the reason why I chose NLU was the same. NLU tag matters. See, PU is state specific university. So PU is famous within the three states: Punjab, Himachal, and Haryana. So
Hmm.
majority of the crowd is here from these three states, and UT, that is Chandigarh basically. You won't find people from diverse region like Madhya Pradesh or Kerala or other states. But
Hmm.
NLU being state center based college, which has a lot
Hmm.
of people from different part of India, like from Kerala, from Tamil Nadu, like every part of India, they will be the people. So you can have very holistic set of people to mingle with. First of all,
Hmm.
second, like the set of competitiveness, which is very high in NLUs in comparison to PUs. Because once you get into PU, the pressure there is very less because majority of people are from very good background, from the litigating background, so they don't study much because they know they will eventually get into their family business litigation. Or majority of it is judiciary aspirants, so there is no attendance issue, there is no other pressure. But since NLU has both, you have to
Hmm.
maintain your academics attendance, so the pressure is high here. Like Divyanshu said, it's a rigorous thing. You have mid-sem, then you have your vivas and project submissions, then your end semester. In between you have all the mock, moot, mediation, these kind of competitions, so you didn't get time for other basically other things. Okay, and third is resources. Yes, like PU, DU, they do not give you resources like SSC, Manupatra, right? But for NLU, you will get these resources included in the fees itself. So that a plus point. And fourth, like in PU specifically, there is no internship culture. There is no mood culture there itself. So you get exposure of internship post your degree. But in NLUs, everyone is into internship in a summer or the winter break. So the culture here is
Hmm.
quite practically exposable. So even if you don't do internship, right, you feel like FOMO there. That he did there, but I didn't do anything. So
Hmm.
the pressure is academically also you learn, practically also you will learn there. Right? And what I will
Correct.
say,
Correct.
since see every area has their own pros and cons, right? If you're in Chandigarh, you can get firms and all these things, right? But if you are
Hmm.
outskirts, like our college in Sabavaram, right? It's not in the city, so your
Hmm.
focus is only on academics and study. You cannot go here and there have fun. But if you're in Chandigarh, you know how Chandigarh is, cafes and all that. You will never study here. You'll just focus yourself in that crowd, in the posh crowds, going cafes, So that is the thing. You have to select a genre, your niche, and go for college specifically in that purpose. And also one thing I'll add upon question papers. Like in
Hmm.
PU, paper are quite direct. There is no thinking, there's no MCQ in that paper. But in our NLU's paper, like especially DSNLU, you have everything. You have MCQs, you have case study, you have some problem based question, and you have theory question. So
Hmm.
it give you holistic approach regarding your study. You cannot rote learn, you cannot miss
Hmm.
the concepts. So you have to do each and everything in like deep. You cannot do MCQs if you're not good with the theory and concepts. So
Correct.
conceptual clarity in NLUs are quite high than in other any other universities, I believe.
I add one more thing here, Ayush. Since
Hmm.
majority of colleges are still like this was a issue on LinkedIn trending. Like majority of colleges running 3 LLB course still function on outdated BCI registration, Bar Council of India registration. And since our DSNLU like it has they have renewed their certification, Bar Council of India certification, a year ago or something. So we have registered well certified 3 year LLB program here at DSNLU. Another thing,
Hmm.
when Tisha said it's high pressure in here, I recollected that line from Suits. You remember, Abhishan? This isn't elementary school. This is long hours, high pressure. So yeah, this is not elementary school.
All your opinions and all your answers will definitely help the people who are going to watch this video and who all are going to come to give the DET this year, and people who are going to give the DET in the upcoming batches. This brings our session to the end. And before I wind up, I would like to say something, like especially for you all, like having a tight schedule. Thank you so much for showing up to execute my plan to help our juniors. And thank you so much for coming up for this video. So people who all are watching, if you feel that this video is helpful for you all, then please like, share, and subscribe.